Yo, what's going on, boys? How you guys doing? Gurvinder, Rav, Ginger, Optimus, Yush, Harmon, Andrew, what's going on? Hell of a day here, MSL. Congrats to everyone. Let's go into some charts quick here. I got a lot of charts open. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about. Yesterday, I told you it was just weird how the value names had ripped 4 days in a row. Like, for example, Home Depot 1, 2, 3, 4 days up, and FedEx, UPS, same story. And then the growth names, they were only bottoming the day before yesterday. So Roku bottomed on December 6th, which was Monday. Yesterday we had 1 day up, so today big follow through in growth names. So exactly what we were talking about yesterday, it happened. So if you listen, congrats. And we crushed so many plays today. Here's SPY. We got all-time highs here at 473.54, but the highest close ever on SPY. Let's see if we can pull it up here. 470.01, I think. Where do we close here? 470 and 1 cent is the highest close ever on SPY. Today we hit 470 on the dot, but we pulled back a little bit, closed here at 469.50, so near high of the day. Very strong end of day there. After hours just looks like it's sideways a little bit. Close right near the high of the day. So we hit the high of the day at 350, and then we pulled back a little bit into the close here. But very solid day overall. If you guys look at SPY, just completely sideways. Bears had no business today. Bulls just completely crushed them. You have to be able to flip back and forth really quickly. You guys seen last Friday, we smashed Friday like nobody else with Adobe HD, I don't even remember how many puts we hit that day. SPY 0 DTs. And we flipped back bullish. Why did we flip back bullish? Because the market was showing us it was bullish. Like, this was last Friday, I believe. December 3rd. Yeah, December 3rd was Friday. Crushed the puts, flipped back bullish. Monday, we did take some L's on the remaining free positions of puts. But then we flipped back bullish, and we got our move. So right now on SPY, the only number that matters is 470.01. That's the highest close ever. And that's what we're going to be watching here as resistance. Looks like we rejected that number again. Let's see if we get another bounce tomorrow. Right now, as you guys see, the stochastics are just starting to curl up here, which means continued strength so far. RSI, everything looks decent. There's nothing overbought, nothing oversold right now. Everything looks bullish. Everyone's buying. Obviously, lower volume today, one thing to note. But other than that, I mean, it's hard to get bearish when you're just running straight up 3 days in a row, right? Obviously, we could have a consolidation or an inside day tomorrow. The 8-day moving average is a little bit far away. It's down at 462.66. So don't get too bulled up, especially with the inflation numbers on Friday. Other than that, let's just see what happens. I'm still holding some of those growth names into tomorrow, but we did take a bunch of profit today, as you guys know. QQQ just within that wedge still that we've been talking about. I mean the weekly channel right here. Went all the way up. We didn't quite test the bottom of the wedge or the channel here, but we did start making it up before, and we do have room to the upside. If we continue on QQQ, I do see us trading around. Why is that number blocking me? Why is this thing blocking me? No. Sorry, I can't see it. We could go all the way up around 412, 413 on QQQs, which is an all-time high if we want to test the top of the channel here. And if you see on the pullbacks, usually it's just a bounce straight and then a big rip. Like here. So bounce, big rip, bounce, big rip, bounce, big rip. Then we just retested the channel, went up, but we held the lows, which is important. Right here, big dip, rip. So usually what we do is we just touch the bottom of the channel and rip. Sometimes we go touch the bottom of the channel, bounce a little bit, come back down, test it, and then rip. So just keep that in mind. If we do dip again, we can go all the way back down to 376-ish area on QQQ. And that would be destruction in the market. Right now, though, everything is looking bullish. It's exactly the rotation you want to see in a bull market. So you guys haven't been trading a long time, a lot of you. One thing about a bull market is just because tech goes down doesn't mean the market is in a bear market. Like, sometimes it just rotates. Financials have been strong. Financials are holding up. In a healthy bull market, you just rotate from sector to sector. You go from tech to financials, financials back to tech, go into value names sometimes, you go into growth names sometimes. So it's just healthy rotation right now on this little bounce up. What I mean by that is, like I said, HD, FedEx, UPS, those kinds of names bouncing for 4 days now. Growth names just bounced 2 days. So let's see if we get the same 4-day bounce on growth. Only time will tell. Inflation numbers Friday. Protect yourselves. Be hedged. Have a lot of cash in hand. There's going to be opportunities. XLF here still kind of garbage for swing trading. I want us to be back in this range that we started in June here. I mean November, sorry. And as soon as we get back above these levels over here, which is like 39.69 to 39.92, if we're over $40 in XLF, I will probably start focusing on that. Until then, we're just broke. This is just a broken chart. There's so many gaps. There's a gap to fill here still, all the way up to 39.95. There's a gap here that they filled. And yeah, so XLF has a gap to fill all the way to $40. That would put us back in the range. Then we can start focusing on financial names more. Other than that, I mean, these MA, we called out the bottom on AXP. MA, I know a bunch of you guys took that AXP for like 200, 300%. MA looked like a false breakdown here, broke underneath the wedge. Got the bears trapped, so took out all the longs, stop losses, and then just absolutely ripped. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. MasterCard's been going up. Visa, same story, I'm sure. 5 days in a row, yep. And AXP was the one that I called out that you guys hit for big gains. Massive bounce here. Again, same story. They just took it underneath the broadening wedge here, stopped out all the longs, got bears in the picture, and then they just crushed them too. So watch for XLF to get over 40. Once XLF gets over 40, we can see continuation on these names. But for right now, they are pretty hot. Like, how many days do you see 5 days up in a row in these kinds of names? Not many, so let it consolidate a little bit. Maybe form a bear flag here. Maybe hold the 200 and the 8-day moving average around here. And then we'll look for a re-entry on AXP again. IWM, nice little bounce. I took those calls at the close that I called the 225s. Opened up in the money, or just slightly out of the money. I knew it was going to rip. It was just too oversold this morning right here. Those calls went down negative 20% or 30%, and I just seen the RSI way oversold, Cassick's way down here, so I held on to them. Got back up, sold them for about 40-45% in the morning. What's up, Vladdy? How you doing? And I didn't want to hold on because I don't know what IWM is the weakest index still. Only reason I took calls on that one over the other two is just because SPY and QQQ already ripped yesterday. IWM, we had a little dip yesterday, if you guys remember, where I entered. Right before close, we had this little dip. I entered here, 125 calls, and we were selling them this morning for 40-45%. So that was my thought process behind this one. Just that we were going to get, we were oversold right at the end of the day. I thought RTY has been gapping up every single day. I mean, RUT has been gapping up every single day. Took the calls, sold them, whatever. No, I'm not dating this one, just, quick. What's up, Saab? How you doing? IWM right here, I mean, it has been going down for so long. This could definitely just be a dead cat bounce before we go and break that support. Again, this is a huge support all the way from January, guys. So usually these kinds of supports, they're really hard to break. It actually looked perfect. This is a perfect bear flag. Roll all the way over like a waterfall, get oversold, and then just consolidate while the RSI fixes itself and then roll over. But sometimes we bounce from these because the sellers just dry up. Sellers run out down here. Bounced off that support. Nice little bounce here to 226. Still has a long way to go to repair this chart. It's broken for now. For swings, I will probably not take it unless it's like a little overnight thing. But just notice something. Patterns. RTY has been gapping up every single day. Small caps have been gapping up every single day for the last 4 days. And then if they dump, whatever, I don't care. If they gap up, my calls are going to be in the money. I sell them and then rinse, repeat, right? The Dow. We were really watching that 50-day moving average back here. Looked like a rejection 2 days ago. Yesterday just ripped right through. Today we got through yesterday's highs, but we could not get through. We could not close above yesterday's high. So nothing really to see here. I mean, 5 days straight up on the Dow Jones. And let's see if we roll over here, if it's just a bounce off support, or if we do roll over and go down and break that support. VIX down here definitely makes trading much funner for the bulls. I was telling you guys we had a gap to fill to the downside, completely filled here. The gap was from November 26th here. Started grinding up all the way. Then we left a gap here, which is interesting now. So why is it interesting? We left a gap between 24.69 and 26. So $2 gap on VIX, but that is up $6 from here. So the thing that I'm watching on this VIX is there's a lot of stuff that could potentially go wrong in the next 2 weeks. By wrong, I mean not in the Bulls' favor, which is the CPI inflation numbers on Friday. We have the Fed next Wednesday, and next Friday we have quad witching. There is going to be volatility. There is a gap to close, so make sure you're watching if VIX gets back here to close that gap. So I'm just going to set a little alert here for myself. It's very likely that we go and close that gap within before next Friday. So pay attention to that. VIX could spike, volatility could return, especially with all those key events coming up. And just watch for that gap fill. SC, very nice bounce today, very nice strength. Like I was saying yesterday, all the growth names just bottomed out Monday or Tuesday, while the value names bottomed out last week. So this is day 3 for SE. Nice little bounce. Now the resistance is at 265.90. 265.90 is the 8-day moving average. If we get through that, we can start making our way back to the 200-day at 283. But if we don't get through that, this is just a dead cat bounce, and we can absolutely go lower. One thing to note on this one is the low volume. But the reason I've traded SE like 4 times in the last 3 days is definitely this oversold indicator here. We got RSI way oversold. RSI is way oversold. Stochastics are way under, and that's on the daily. If you scroll back in time on SE, very rarely has the RSI been oversold. If you look here, RSI oversold, big 5-6 day bounce, right? RSI almost oversold here, huge bounce. RSI oversold here, huge bounce. So just patterns, you know what I mean? Not every stock will do this. I mean, stocks like Roku have been oversold for weeks and weeks and weeks. Like, look at this, oversold, little tiny bounce, and then broke the lows. You know what I mean? So different stocks have different ways of trading them. SE is one of my favorites for the oversold bounce, especially when it all matches up. Like yesterday when I took it, the daily was oversold, the 4-hour was oversold, I think it was yesterday. But yeah, just learn single stocks. You see how it's oversold 4-hour. If the daily, hourly, the more time frames are oversold, the better chance you have of getting the bounce that you want. So SE was just set up perfectly for a bounce play. Caught that one perfectly. Now if we get a little tiny consolidation, because like I said, these stocks are not going to bounce from these lows all the way back to highs straight. They're going to have to set higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. That's how they're going to repair the charts if they're going to change the trends. They're not going to go straight up in a line, so just be aware of that. Home Depot, we are still short this one. Technically, it looks beautiful. Every time it takes all-time high, it always dumps. Right here, when all-time high, big inverted hammer candle. Tried to break this this resistance. Big inverted hammer, again. Finally got through it. New highs, same thing, inverted hammer. And today was a nice little dump. The one thing I don't like about these HT puts that we've been in and out of, is the premium. They're not adding premium to the puts. Like today, for a move from 420 almost all the way down to 408, I think. Yeah, 420 to 408. We have 400 puts for next week. Those puts should have been over $4 easy, especially with the inflation and all that. So that's one thing that is scaring me about HT. But we've locked in profit on these. I added at 180 in the morning. We sold those ones for 230, and just rinse and repeat. So my position's pretty much, if not almost all free right now. So I'm just holding right now. It looks like we almost retested, which is also scary. So this is one of my favorite setups, as you guys know, a bull flag break, retest, and then rip. So we didn't quite retest it. That's why I'm still holding overnight. Let's see what tomorrow brings us. I literally have no idea with this HT. There's things in both ways. But let's see if we get the short move that we need. Roku, absolute beauty. This morning we sent the news that Google and YouTube partnership is still alive. They redid it, or whatever the hell you want to call it. And Roku's been a $390 stock, or Roku's been $490. We were trading this morning at 225, 230-ish. I grabbed stock pre-market at 231, called it out in the group, sold some at 256-ish, and letting the rest ride. I mean, we have equity, we have a lot of volume that came in today on Roku. If you scroll out back in time, last time we had this type of volume was in September, where we had an 18% day, and then the next day we had a 3% gain as well. So let's see if Roku can follow through tomorrow. It does look very good. I think there's shorts trapped. Anyone that's shorted since November 17th is trapped in this name right now. So they're going to have to cover, which just adds fuel to the fire. Let's see if we can get up to 273, which is my first target, and the second target is a 50-day moving average at 285. T-Doc here, calls sold some for 50% today, just because this stock. What's up, Cora? I don't know what that means. But T-Doc here, nice little bounce. The only reason I sold half my position here for I don't even remember, 230 or something. No, $1.30, something like that. I don't know. So T-Doc, just huge dump. I mean, this is a hated stock. There's tons of shorts in this one. This definitely looks like capitulation. By capitulation, I mean there's this big volume selling. It looks like seller's exhaustion here. Jumped in calls. It looks like Kathy Wood's going to take over, especially with all the stuff we were saying yesterday. Value already bounced. Now it's time for growth. So we jumped in the T-Doc, got cool 60, 70%, still holding half the position. I think this one goes much higher if this is the bottom. I hate calling bottoms, but if this is the bottom, especially with all this volume that's coming in, usually it marks the bottom. So if this is the bottom, first move would be up to today's pre-market high, which is 104 almost, and then next level is 111, and we have 110 calls for next week. So if growth does see follow through, we should get an easy 2-3x on this T-Doc at least. And the one thing is the volume is declining, which I don't like, but let's see if we bulls step in and start buying this one. Same story as SE, the RSI is down, stochastics are just starting to curl up now on the daily, but I don't trade this name based off that, just for a simple fact that it doesn't really matter if the RSI is down. It just keeps going down. So you have to notice SE, T-Doc, completely different plays. Microsoft, big surge at the end here. There's a very weird thing happening in Microsoft. Me and Taco were talking about it in the voice chat. This big wick, I don't know what this is, but they just dumped it and they ripped it right back up all in 5 minutes. And then at the end of the day, huge volume started coming in and they just started loading Microsoft. We do have a resistance right above where it rejected end of day, but that daily candle is very nice. So daily candle closing near high of day, looks like a little hammer forming. If we get through 335.32, we should go back to all-time highs around 350 on Microsoft. Other than that, I'm not bearish on this one. Obviously, one of the best stocks in the market. Even if you look at the stochastics, this is starting to curl up. This is starting to gain back momentum. And let's see what happens tomorrow. Amazon, I jumped in a position end of day. Why did I jump in a position on Amazon? It does look like a head and shoulders is forming, I'm not going to lie. Shoulder, head, and let's see if the third shoulder is still forming. If it is, we should take out these highs. And let's see if we can just get back to the top of these Bollinger Bands here. It would be around 36.30-ish. I'm just looking for a 1-2 day trade. Why am I trading it? I mean, Microsoft strong at the end of the day. Google at the end of the day ripped. Nice day for that. Facebook, nice day. Up 2.4%. Apple's been ripping. What, are they just going to leave Amazon alone like down here? So it's just a laggard play kind of thing. I'm not too confident in it. I think overnight, if we do get bullish activity in futures, Amazon should gap up. We should get a nice fill, nice 30-50% on Amazon, no big deal. And this one moves like crazy. If it does gap up, I think we'll be up quite a bit. PayPal here. PayPal is absolutely beautiful. It's another one of those growth names. Looks like it bottomed out. I don't see the same type of capitulation volume, so we definitely could have, actually, yeah, the volume is very high comparatively. So if this is the bottom as well, this one has a lot of room to move. I think it go to 225. If PayPal goes over a 21 day at 198 here, I think we do see a move to 225. Obviously not in a straight line. We might set a higher low here and then move up, but other than that, looks great. Same thing on stochastics, RSI, everything's oversold. We're just bouncing. Moderna here just holding above the 200 day. I'm waiting for this one. It looks like it's going to spike. They held the premiums up in the January calls. I don't know if Cool Guy Ricky's still holding them, but they're just holding this one right on top of the 200 day. So absolute, like my out on Moderna would be 264. If we go under 264 on Moderna, I don't want any part of the long side. But as long as we're above it and trading near it, I'm interested in January calls for this one. I had an order in again today for 6.5 for the January 21st 350 call, but didn't get filled again. The low was 7. So I'm going to keep this one on watch. The closer it gets to 264, the more I'm going to want those January calls. I just don't see how they don't make more revenue. I'm sure they're going to announce that everyone needs a new booster for Omicron to make them more whatever against it, safe against it, protected against it. And I'm just waiting for 264. I will jump in Jan calls on Moderna. Other than that, it's not really on watch. Airbnb, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. One of the hottest stocks in the market. Had this clear zone of demand here. So every time we got down to this support, people were buying it, right? Finally broke through. It took like 1.5 days to get right through that supply. So we chewed right back up through the support. Didn't turn into resistance. Yesterday or 2 days ago looked like a resistance. Yesterday gapped right over it. Today kind of an inside day almost, I think. Yesterday's high was 187.50. Today was 187.50. Yesterday's low 182, 182.14. So basically an inside day, but the high of the day was the exact same. So tomorrow the magic number on Airbnb to keep going is 187.50. If Airbnb goes through 187.50, we can have a massive Friday lotto. Go Amazon back here again. Yush, my friend, is telling me to go to 1 hour. Could be, yeah. I see a little bit of inverse head and shoulders here. I see what you're seeing. So if we do get through 3543 on Amazon, we should have a nice follow through move. 3543-ish. That would be my number for Amazon to absolutely explode. Other than that, I mean, play looks good. I took it. Airbnb, nice bounce off support again today. You see that big lower wick? That means people bought off that support again. So they're defending the support a lot. If you want longer term options, I actually think it's better. Because if they hold this support, Airbnb has a lot of room to the upside. We could even run to 215-ish. 200 is probably a given on Airbnb if you take enough time. It's a love stock. A lot of people love this stock long term. And Tesla, I really wanted calls here at the end of the day. Why did I want calls? We're breaking back through that back test there. Tomorrow, if Tesla is lower, it's a big red flag. But if we continue going higher, we did close above the wedge. The back test, we closed above it, as you see here. Huge wedge, breakdown with the market, 4 days straight down. Everything cooled off here, and now 3 straight days up. And look, they're buying the dip every single day. Lower wicks indicate that they're buying the dip. So right now, we did close above the wedge, and that's why I was saying I was trying to get Tesla so bad at the end of the day. I didn't want to chase the price. I had my limit sell buy in, didn't fill me. I let it go. I jumped in Amazon instead. We are right at the 21-day moving average as well. So if we're over 1071 tomorrow, over 1071 on Tesla, I think we can go to 1175 even. So just watch 1071 and 1175 might come after that. Walmart, play at the end of the day there. Why did I take this one? I seen some flow come in. I barely ever look at Walmart. I seen some flow come in 200K into December 31st, 150s, I believe, 140s or something. And I opened the chart. I had these lines drawn out already. Very clear support here. Every time we've touched support, we've kind of bounced off it and then gone sideways for a bit and then ripped. Bounced off it, sideways for a bit, and then ripped. Bounced off it, sideways for a bit. Maybe 1 or 2 more days of consolidation, and then we should start making our way back up to 152 as long as the support holds. If we go underneath the support, I'm not interested in this play anymore. I'll cut them quick. But we do have 2 weeks. I don't even remember what I took. Yeah, I took December 17th just because I'm crazy. And if we get the bounce, I see first test is at 200-day at least, which is at 140. So we would be in the money. Let's see if we get that move on Walmart. I hope you guys had a great day like I did. And thank you guys for attending. I'll see you tomorrow.